For the regular meeting September 11th, 2013, special meeting September 12th, 2013, special meeting September 18th, 2013, and the special meeting September 24th or 25th, 2013.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for the regular meeting September 11th, 2013, special meeting September 12th, 2013, special meeting September 18th, 2013, and special meeting September 25th, 2013 as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Wojcik?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Ratification of bills for September, October 2013.
Make a motion that we ratify the bills as presented for September and October of 2013.
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, Mary, call the roll.
Commissioner Wojcik?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Commissioner reports, and I'll begin with town picnic is Saturday, so looking for everybody to be there. Should be a good time. And second thing I'd like to talk about is I will be spending the next 2 days probably with Attorney Denhart in court for the lawsuit that's been going on for about 5 years. Finally should be coming to a head on the Gulf Marin. We're going to be in court the next 2 days for that. Next thing, I've been asked about what's happening with the speed. Since we had the big meeting at the workshop and had a big turnout. Well, we've had a study done and the final results are not in, but preliminary results are in, and where the average speed on the preliminary results on 175th Avenue, it was done by the county with their little things they put in the road, and I kept looking for hoses, but they did away with those a long time ago. They got little sensors they put in the road. The average speed on all counters was between 24 and 25 miles an hour. They've got quite a bit of study. There was a few, just to read off one example of one day there were 640 cars, 640 counts through there. Between 20 and 24 miles an hour, there are 291. Between 25 and 29, there were 214, and between 30 to 34, there were 33. 35 to 39, there were 9, and then there were 2. And I have got a report from one of the residents there that lives on 175th. It seems like since the meeting, the speed has slowed down some. But until we get the final report and the police department gets their report to me, and we'll make a decision. It kind of looks like maybe 20 miles an hour would be a good speed limit through there. But anyway, we'll talk about that. And that's all I have. Oh, no, I don't. No, I got something else maybe I look here in red, so I should. The water is scheduled to be shut off on Thursday, October 10th from 10 p.m. until 5 a.m. The affected areas are 174th Avenue East through 175th Avenue East. If work is not completed, the water will again be shut off on Friday, October 11th, the same times. When water resumes, flush all faucets for several minutes. That's all I have, Vice Mayor Branch.
Okay. On our police report, criminal reports were down in both towns, while police action reports were down in Indian Shores and up in Reddington Shores. the call for service were down in Indian Shores and increased in Redington Shores. Traffic citations, parking tickets, traffic warnings were up in Indian Shores with the exception of traffic citation, parking citations, and traffic warnings were up in Redington Shores. There was no report of injury of accidents in either of the two towns, with Indian Shores and 3 in Redington Shores. So we did have a few fender benders, I guess. Physical arrests were down 50% in Indian Shores and up 62% in Redington Shores. There's one other thing that I would like to bring to the commissioner is the lift stations that we have. We have a bill, first of all, we got a bill that I did not agree with, but the building official said that we did owe it. The troops working out here on the highway, they had a set of plans almost identical to ours. Ours had a certain line on them where theirs did not. And they said, well, if it had been on their plans, well, I don't know how they got the plans without them and ours with them, but that's neither here nor there. We paid $800 and something for an emergency repair on that, and we furnished the material. Now, this was okayed, that bill was okayed by everybody, that they said that's the way that it works. It was a private line, but it was still, we had it marked. Okay, we have money left over in putting in the junction boxes. We had a credit of $1,175, but we had to put in 2 more boxes, so we owe $1,303, and I'd like to make a motion that the commission approve that would be made to Hollis Electric.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second, in discussion. Hearing none, Mayor, call the roll.
Commissioner Wojcik?
Yes.
Commissioner Capper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes,
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
thank you. Commissioner Kaplan?
Yeah, just to bring up a little bit more on the, when they shut the water off on us, it is a real good idea to turn your tub on first and let it run for about 5 minutes or so, because all your other fixtures in your house have screens in it and it'll just catch the dirt, you'll be all clogged up. You let that tub run, get all the stuff out of it, then you'll be in good shape. We're getting ready for the picnic, and one of our big things we've done, we've installed new cabinets down at Constitution Park. Also, we installed 5 new fiberglass doors. Palm trees in the city have been trimmed, and we are spending the rest of the week sprucing up the rest of the park for the picnic. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaplan. Commissioner Wojcik?
Thank you. Okay, so first, I'll be attending a weekend class on municipal financial reporting, on understanding municipal financial reports. That was recommended by the mayor, so that would be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Next, so every year we create a little citizens committee is formed, to update the floodplain management plan. And so the first meeting, I'm going to recommend to Mary that we publish the first meeting for the 2014 floodplain management plan be Thursday night, October 17th at 6 p.m. here at Town Hall. So this volunteer committee, we update the plan so that by January, the first commission meeting in January, we can present it to the commission for approval. The items I'm planning on incorporating, adding to the floodplain management plan are whatever residual impacts the flood insurance changes that Bigger Waters Act might have created. Secondly, there's I'm going to identify the severe weather spotter training that was recommended by somebody from NOAA, or Christie, actually, a person from our committee, actually, our town recommended it, so I think that's a great idea, and I'm going to include that in the floodplain management plan. And so if you would like to participate in the plan, the meeting is planning process, the meeting is going to be 6 p.m. next Thursday night here at Town Hall. Next, I contacted Shayla Prasis, who is our Pinellas County Emergency Management Operations Coordinator, and she and I were discussing our, the plan that Indian Shores and Reddington Shores jointly created a while back that support, so that we could support our town services during the periods of evacuation and returning back to town. So she and I will be working with the Indian Shores team to, bring this plan up to current status and then maintain it from then on. So I was glad to meet her. And so then lastly, now that we made skateboarding on some of our streets a crime, I'm going to present at the next workshop some ideas for a skateboard park, and I'm going to identify some possible locations for that park. And those sites will include the South Lock of Constitution Park, some area in Del Bello Park, the East Lot of Spitzer Park, either the green space in our own town hall, the green space in our own town hall public parking area, or we have 2 open lots in front of the La Vistana property that are going to be leased to the town for 30 years. Those would be possible locations for a skateboarding park. And if you want to, I have some examples of things that I will hand out next week, but for you guys here, you can hand this out now. These are kinds of samples of skateboarding parks that we'll be talking about. And I welcome other ideas for locations for a skateboard park from other citizens in town. Thank you.
Thank you. I've heard this going, so I would like to see if the other commissioners right now want to go forward with this skateboard park. Heard both ways from city residents, but I'd like to know, maybe take a vote now to whether to put it on the workshop and go forward with it or not.
Well, now that I've had a little advance notice of where he's thinking of locating it, I'm absolutely against it. I don't think there's any other adequate place in town to have them anyway. I really don't want the undesirables in the town. That would be a drawing point, I think, for them.
Well, and see, the reason I want to workshop it, because there are many children in my area where skateboarding is a crime, that bring their skateboards to the beach when they come to the beach on the weekends, and they need a place to skateboard. They can't skateboard right in front of their houses anymore because it's against the law. So I'm trying to offer them an alternative. And I believe that if we, I appreciate the fact that you want to railroad this through to a conclusion, yet I suspect that there is some conversation that should be had in a workshop where the public has an opportunity to discuss it. And maybe they'll vote it down. Maybe they'll tell us, no, we don't want a skateboard park in our town. We do want kids to not be able to skateboard in our town. They could say that. I appreciate the fact that some adults come to town and destroy property, use profane language, violate private property rights, and they happen to come on board on skateboards. That could happen with anybody. The crime is damaging the property, using profanity, violating people's private property rights, destroying public property. Those are the crimes. Skateboarding, is that a crime? And so what I'm trying to do is make a place, if you want to keep them off the streets, then we ought to give them a place, an opportunity to discuss it. And I really strongly, I feel strongly about this, that this needs to be aired, and for us to just bury it in a commission meeting seems inappropriate. Thank you.
Well, apparently, if I might comment on what the commissioner said, apparently, Commissioner Wojcik, you think that once you build a skateboard park, there's no crime committed in that location.
I can't control criminals from coming to town and destroying our property, violating our private property rights, using profanity, abusive language. I can't control that. What I want to do is give the kids who skateboard, because they're 12 years old and they want to skateboard, I want to give them an opportunity to skateboard without breaking the law.
And think how much they can learn from the undesirables all around them in the skateboarding park. That's just my comment about it, that's all. That's why I don't want it in my town.
And so what I think is that skateboarders on 175th Avenue and Long Point Drive do behave, right? The skateboarders there don't destroy private property. That's because the law discriminates against the people west of Gulf Boulevard in the Commercial Tourist Facility District. So what I'm trying to do is give the kids who are discriminated against an opportunity to skateboard. That's what I'm trying to do.
I've said all I'm gonna say about it.
Anybody else? No.
I feel that, you know, I'm not saying I'm against it or for it, okay, but I think that we ought to at least do a workshop on it, advertise it that way, and see how many of the people that really want this thing in town. We should at least give it a chance and just say, no, we're not doing it, especially here at the commission meeting when it wasn't even on the agenda.
Okay. Vice Mayor Brent?
No, I've seen too much of it afterwards, and I'm not for it.
All right, it looks like it's kind of a wait in here, and I'm willing to take it to a workshop and see what happens. I have to agree with Commissioner Holmes. I do not see a place in town to put this.
And I think at the workshop, we need measurements, we need all this stuff instead of just a picture.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, anyway, we'll move on.
Since I'm not normally at the workshops, you mentioned Del Bello Park. The use of that park is
Can't do it.
extremely
Prohibited.
restricted by the Florida Communities Trust as part of the grant. And if you remember the time just putting the kayak ramp in there and all the hassle and permission, that's probably a 2-year prospect to see if you could even get permission there. Also, the 2 lots concerning La Vistana, we don't know at this time whether that's going to be in litigation, but that may well be a 2-year time period before those could be used. So I just didn't want you trying to rely upon either one of those locations in the short run.
The reason I included the La Vistana route lots is because when I read the agreement that was signed with La Vistana, there are no restrictions for the use of those lots. And so I just thought, if there's no restrictions, skateboarding is a good choice.
I would add too that there has been some comment in here that that you can't, you know, you're protected from skateboard parks from lawsuits. I think you better ask Tampa about that. They're going through one right now. So, anyway, we'll move on. Next is the appraisal finding for the town property located in Reddington Beach.
You don't mind if I run through a few things on my report, just to,
Oh, I did.
I'll try not to put them to sleep.
You were talking and I'm sorry.
I thought I had my turn
I
already.
thought you had your turn. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, sir. Some of these statistics are very dry to people, but our building department during the month of 36 permits were issued with fees collected in the amount of $5,535.88. Needless to say, there were no permits for new construction issued under that number. There was $4,371.59 was received from building department services rendered to the town of Indian Shores, which is the standard monthly amount. I'd just like to make a note to our residents who are interested in government assistance in raising their house structure above BFE base flood elevation. We now have created, and Dave, of course, has been a partner with us in a lot of this information. We now have a to-do list prior to establishing an appointment with the building official. If you have an interest, if you think you have an interest in raising your property above base flood elevation. There seems to be a lot more attention given that now that the National Flood Insurance Program is getting in high gear to raise the insurance rates. It seemed before, repetitive loss property owners were happy as long as somebody else was taking the money out of their pocket to fix the flooding, the claims. They were happy just to keep letting Uncle Sam pay for it. Now, where Uncle Sam's decided that he's not gonna pay for it anymore, or at least he's not gonna do it long-term, he's gonna change the rates on it, that, they're gonna have to dig some money out of their pocket if they're interested in protecting themselves. So, in order to do that, there are these programs, we've had these programs for a long time, but as I said, the repetitive loss people were not too interested in changing their situation. But now, the programs pretty much have generally always had amount of government money was 75%. If you were qualified and selected, the government money grants usually was 75%. From government money, you had to have 25% of the balance of it of your own money. There may be some other ones would tweak it one way or another, I'm not sure, but we can get you the information if we don't have it available. But in any event, prior to coming down for an appointment with the building official, if you come by the front office, they have a little to-do list on what you need to accumulate, what you need, the information you need to gather before you set an appointment with Steve Andrews. And it's never really too early to get started on looking for some of this information. I think Dave will probably second on that. Because by the time you start looking for it, sometimes it takes a little while to get it together. Even though there's a program not open right now, there will be, and in the meantime, you can be getting ready for it. So that's all I have to say about that part. In the fire department services, there were 5 emergency fire responses for the time period, with an average response time of 5 minutes and 40 seconds. There were no non-emergency fire responses for the period. EMS services, 15 EMS calls during the period with an average response time of 6 minutes and 16 seconds. There were 7 non-emergency EMS responses for this time period with an average response time of 7 minutes and 18 seconds. There is one note from Acting Chief Tokars here that I'll just read you. I am glad that we have had a relatively quiet hurricane season and hope the trend continues. While September is the historic peak of the season, October is the 3rd busiest month for hurricane development. Since these tropical storms form much closer to the county, the warning time for these storms can be considerably less. I encourage you to continue your preparedness planning, and I again assure you our department takes all storm warnings seriously and are prepared to assist your town if you should require our assistance. So it's just a continuous effort to make your property less vulnerable to storms. The library, the Gulf Beaches Library Board of Trustees elected their fiscal year 2014 officers at their September 23rd meeting. The officers are as follows: Alan Bills, Treasure Island, the chairperson; Lee Holmes, Reddington Shores, vice chairperson; Richard Bennett, North Reddington Beach treasurer; and Susan Lashley, North Reddington Beach secretary. That's all I had, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner Holmes, and I apologize for
Not
moving
necessary.
ahead.
You're getting good at it.
And I'd like to just thank Commissioner Holmes for that report, and I just wanted to, one thing that I found I think is understated in all the documentation is that I believe the maximum flood insurance amount is $250,000. So if you're paying $7,000 a year, you're paying for $250,000 of flood insurance, period. It's the max.
Good point.
Mhm. And it was on the news tonight that the state is looking at forming a citizens flood insurance. That would really.
Yeah, because the other one works so well.
Yeah. Right.
Now you gotta fund it?
Bill Young's not running again.
And, yeah, Congressman Young is retiring. Okay, the first, under old business is appraisal findings for the town property located in Reddington Beach. As you know, Mayor Simons and myself, we got together and talked that we would get an appraisal on that property, and we'd each pay half to get the appraisal. Mayor Simons was under the impression that it was zoned residential medium. It came back, it was zoned by their term. It came back zoned residential retail. And they have had a meeting once the appraisal came in. They had a meeting and they have not made an offer, but have referred it to our meeting. And the appraisal came in at $330,000. I think we're looking at what we might want to do. We can either, and I told Mayor Simons this, we could put it out for sale and give them first right of refusal, and I guess give them a time limit on it. We could forget the whole thing about selling it, or we could look at other avenues. As a neighboring city, I would like to, if they wanted it and wanted to pay the price for it, that's where I'd like to see it go, but that's my opinion. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
What was your last comment, sir? If what happened?
My last comment was that as a neighboring city,
Yeah.
that's where I would like to see the property go if they're going to use it to expand their park, which is what they're going to do. That's that's my personal opinion.
At the
But they
price.
At the right price.
Okay.
They didn't,
The
they
right
have
price.
not, they did not make me an offer.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to comment on what the mayor said. First of all, the property wasn't for sale when we started. I mean, we didn't ask somebody to come in and buy it from us. That all got started when somebody came up and wanted to lease it, wanted to lease some space for parking vehicles, and then said something about selling or buying it, and I said, well, bring a suitcase full of money, and somebody else made some other comments, and that's how it all got started. And then from that point, they made us an offer of what they said the property appraiser said it was worth, and we discussed things, and I guess I was one of the more boisterous, no, I don't want to use that term.
You were the closest to.
I was closest to the guest on sending it back to them at $350. Hey, and if they'd have given it to us, I would have suggested that we take it. But now, it wasn't bothering us before. We had to cut the grass once in a while. It isn't going anywhere. It doesn't cost any money as a municipality. There's no taxes on it. I certainly don't agree with giving the town of Reading Beach first right of refusal. If we get somebody that'll give us the price, I think we need to take it for the money belongs to the residents of this community. And it's not ours to play with, I don't think. So we need to get every penny we can. We need to get the maximum amount if we're going to sell it. If you're going to sell it, then I think you need to open it. And if Reddington Beach wants to buy it, tell them to buy it.
If we are allowed, if we would sell it, what are we allowed to use the money for?
Well,
I mean, there's things that I like to use it for.
sure.
That's maybe Attorney Denhart can answer that question for me. I'm not.
It was given in lieu of cash.
I know
Yeah.
how it was acquired, but I'm not sure what, in lieu of what else, how it came in. And I'm not sure whether that was in exchange for LDU fees or.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was cash in lieu of.
Then the ordinance says what the LDU money can be used for, and basically it's parks and that sort of thing, but sometime in the past 5 or so years, that ordinance was amended.
For other amenities.
I'm sorry?
For other amenities.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it said, but basically for things to, amenities to help the town, to beautify the town, but not necessarily just park money or creating land, but for, I think, beautification efforts. So I forget the exact words in the ordinance, so we'd have to look at that.
There's people up and down Gulf Boulevard, not as many as we'd like to see, but there are some commercial properties around Gulf Boulevard that possibly some of this money could be for people that wanted to fit into the Gulf Boulevard overlay plan with the facade and things of that nature, that maybe make some money available to them to help dress up the Gulf Boulevard in accordance with that. The Gulf Boulevard overlay, which has been adopted in this part of the code.
So, go ahead.
Okay, so I appreciate the fact that we got one appraisal. I thought there were, at the Finance Committee, they were talking about trying to get some other valuations on that thing. I think the 330 is a lot closer to the reality than the first number that was presented. I can't remember what the first number was even, but You know, this is a pretty dynamic time. That Dopey Bigger Waters Act is going to affect property values most likely in a downward manner, so.
I think it's ROR, isn't it?
ROR, correct.
R,
It's-
R.
We had a letter,
Residential office
did want a
retail.
letter put in everybody's box from their attorneys, and it was ROR,
Residential office retail.
yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, so, I mean, I don't know if you want to get I mean, I got an appraisal once for a recent financial transaction, but I only got one because I liked it.
Well, this was agreement between, we can't keep getting appraisals because these things are not cheap.
Okay.
And this was agreement, and we researched the appraisers,
Yeah, I know they're not cheap.
and so Mayor Simons and I agreed on this appraiser to do it. And
Probably not gonna get much of a change anyway
No.
on vacant land.
Okay, thank you.
so, I guess what I'm asking is, what do we want to do? We want to move forward and put it up for sale, or
Are they looking for us to give them another figure, or?
no?
No.
I
Well,
talked to Mayor Simons on the phone. I told him I wouldn't be able to give him figure. It was up to him to make the offer to us,
Yeah.
since it came back on the appraisal, and that's what we agreed to do.
Well, I was under the impression that when we came back for the appraisal, that we would cut a deal and sell it, and I.
No, that night, I said, nobody's binding under the appraisal. When the appraisal comes in, we're not binding to sell or them to buy.
Well, I think at this point, I would tell, what's his name, Simon, Mayor Simon, to make us an offer.
Well, that's what they didn't do.
What was our last offer, you remember? The first one he gave us?
214.
Well, he's way off right now.
No,
Well, they're not going, what I'm saying is, they're not gonna make us another offer until we, no, that was my understanding, until we, if we put it up for sale, what I just said, if we put it up for sale and give them first right of refusal, maybe they would make an offer, but.
I wouldn't give them first right of refusal.
Why don't we just say no, thank you?
No, thank you.
That's fine.
And we're gonna put it up for sale and then let them make their move. I don't think we should throw it.
Now, wait a minute, wait, no thank you, or we're going to put, and keep it, or we're going
We're
to?
gonna put it up for sale,
Okay, I'm thinking no, thank you, and we're going to keep it.
but I like to know where the money can be used.
I put $100 sign on it. I don't think we need to spend $2,500 more on any appraisals.
No.
No, I'd just say give them the first right of refusal and put the price what we think.
He knows what the price is.
Well, that's it. I mean, it's a different,
It won't be different once it's done here.
no.
If you get somebody that's willing to pay $330, why would you want to tell them, well, I'm sorry, but you got to wait about 24 hours while we check this other fellow over here, see if he wants it.
And it's basically gonna be longer than that.
Yeah, it's going to be longer than that, because no
They gotta
government
call-
makes a
they gotta
decision
call
in
a
24
meeting
hours.
and-
Right.
Yeah.
All right,
No, I believe in being a good neighbor, but, this business is business,
I agree.
if he doesn't wanna make us an offer or on what we've already got an appraisal on or close to it, somebody will buy it.
Well, or just leave it be. I mean, just say no, thank you, and let's let it be like it was. I mean, we weren't planning on selling it. It was just an offer that came out of the blue. And no is legitimate.
Put a skateboard on it.
Well, skateboard park. There you go.
I can assure you,
Ready to be-
I can assure you right now, Mayor Simon says, no.
I figure you guys will like that.
Dave, you have them?
Dave Over, 635 182nd. When we had our last finance committee meeting, they asked me to see what we could do. I contacted Jeff Biggins. He's going to get you a report for the workshop on every property that the town owns, of what it can be, what it's worth, what can be on it, for revenue, whatever on it, and he's going to bring that report to you or bring the report anyways for the workshop. So,
And who is this?
Jeff Biggins,
Oh, okay.
Century 12.
Right, okay.
Including the town hall.
Every piece of property the town owns.
This town hall right here?
Yeah.
for sale. They're gonna be skateboarding on here?
I didn't say skateboarding, I said revenue.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, Mary, I guess we'll have to just, either I'll call Nick or we'll send him a letter.
what, has there any decision been made on what?
The decision I got, what I understand is that we're just gonna forget it.
Well, that's what he said.
Well, that's,
I said.
That's not what Tom said.
oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. What do you say? You wanna put it up for sale?
I don't care, it's fine with me if they want to. I mean, if that's a consensus of what they want to do,
Who's they?
the board of
Well,
commissioners.
no, but I'm asking, what do you
It's
want?
okay with me to put it up for sale, sure.
Yeah, I'd put it up.
Okay,
So,
so if we're gonna put it up for sale, we're gonna list it, we're gonna put our own sign on it.
put our own on it. Why pay the 6% or 3% commission?
For sale by owner.
Okay. We'll do it.
No, so what are we gonna
Put it up for sale by owner.
do? Because he said something about a 7% commission.
No,
Then I heard by owner.
he said instead of paying a
Instead of, they don't sometimes speak as loud as I think they should.
It's worth that, liability.
You need to speak louder for,
For the senior gentleman at the end of the row here. Thank you.
You're
Mr.
welcome.
Capper. Commissioner Capper, excuse me. You heard me. I did.
all right, on the new business, Resolution 8-13, approving the annual CIE element schedule for comprehensive plan.
Resolution number 08-13, a resolution of the Town Commission of the Town of Reading Shores, Florida, reviewing the annual amendments to the town's capital improvement element schedule of projects and approving and adopting of the same, providing an effective date.
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 08013 as read.
I'll second.
Motion and second in discussion.
I do have a question. My question is, let me make sure everybody can hear this. My question is, this is just a plan, right? This is not a commitment to spend this money, right? This is just a plan that's brought up every year just for guidance in setting the budget for the following years.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
We
Okay.
might spend it. But we might spend it.
Well, I just wanted to know if I should put a skateboard park cost in there.
He's like Obamacare.
You can if you want.
All right, Mary call the roll.
Commissioner Wojcik?
Yes.
Commissioner Snapper?
Yes.
Commissioner Holmes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Branch?
Yes.
Mayor Adams?
Yes. Public comment. Okay, hearing none, I'd like to, it's kind of way above my head, but I think that our government needs to get together and figure something out. It's getting crazy.
Talking about the federal government, right?
I'm talking about the federal government, yeah.
I didn't even know we had one.
Okay.
They don't either.
Actually, things are running pretty good without them.
Yeah. Maybe they're running better.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But with that, the next workshop meeting is Wednesday, October 30th, 2013 at 7 p.m. The regular meeting is Wednesday, November 13th, 2013 at 7 p.m. With that, meeting is adjourned.
I'll tell you.
This
When they